Who's this guy that I'm about to look?
James. Oh, so you're a 200cc man. We're going right off the bat.
I did 150.
150, we'll do 150.
All right, everybody, we're here at the Weekly Hookup with Tides of Man, and as you can see, it's already getting heated. We wanted to do this segment for a while, and they were cool enough to let us do this here while they're here at the Southgate House in Northern Kentucky. And today, James is going to try and school them in Mario Kart while we ask them a bunch of questions. So with us, we've got Josh, Dan, and Alan from Tides of Man. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I'm mostly curious, who do you all main in this game? Who's your character?
I'm getting Toad.
Wario.
Cool, Wario. So, yeah, like I said before, or maybe I didn't say it, since we're all winging this, I wanted to do this while we were mid-game so that there's a little shit talking, and if it gets too out of line, I'm happy to edit it after the fact, as I'd love to keep my job. So, let's start here. How's the tour going so far?
It's going really awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Any highlights so far?
Think about how these controls work.
Last night was sold out, and that was in where the hell were we?
You were in Grand Rapids last
Yeah,
night, right?
that was sick. The crowd was really, really awesome.
Grand Rapids is a cool town. Michigan seems to get a lot of hate in Ohio because of sports, but every time I go up there, it's beautiful. People are very friendly. So,
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry to disappoint all my friends. How far into the tour are we right now?
It's halfway now.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly halfway.
Sweet. Well, what a momentous occasion.
Speaking of momentum, I'm going to come out first place. I got to beat that beach right now.
I haven't gotten any weapons yet. Why not?
You got to hit the mystery blocks before other people.
Who's Peach, by the way? Awesome. Oh, see, Alan came in talking a lot of trash at the beginning, and so far he's earned all of that talk.
He's the only one that actually plays Switch.
See, it's kind of an unfair advantage in that case, but at the same time, Alan, I really appreciate you coming prepared today. All right, let's go down the line. Alan, if you want, since Alan's in first, I'll be starting the questions or start the answers. Who have been some of your biggest musical influences coming up as an artist?
Oh God, so many. I would have to say Tool, the Mark Volta, Led Zeppelin, Coheed for sure. Bands like that for the most part. And then a lot of R&B and jazz stuff from back in the day. And yeah, pretty much that.
I love it. How about you?
Thrice is my number one of all time.
Recently.
Unfortunately I haven't gotten to see him in a couple of years. I think it's like 2 years ago. To Be Everywhere, or whatever that album's called. Saw them on that tour. But other than them, I'm probably the post-rock guy in the band.
Sure.
I love Mogwai, love This Will Destroy You, Russian Circles, all those bands too. So.
Do you think that your love of that influences the writing a little more heavily?
For sure. Guitar style and textures and all that stuff. Definitely big influence.
And it sounds just like from the first two answers between the two of you, you definitely get that. I've always kind of felt that you guys have this cinematic is the best way I can describe your sound, especially on the last two records. I think that's a good word to use.
Yeah.
And I kind of love hearing that coming from your voice. How about you, Josh? Where's your background?
Similar to Alan, because I've known Alan for a really long time, so we were getting into Mars Volta together. I'm also very much into hip hop. Led Zeppelin, when I was starting, I really liked. So it's pretty similar to Alan.
Sure.
We have really similar tastes.
I kind of love that. So how long have you all known each other? I mean, is this like a long time kinship?
I mean, me and Josh have been friends since 2004. We've been playing together since then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I joined the band in 2010 touring Dream House.
Okay.
They split with their guitar player, and I came in for the last two tours on that album. And then did the whole transition into Young and Courageous and all that. So I've been together for a while now.
That's really cool. Young and Courageous is a really cool record to me, man. That was one of those ones where I had just recently signed up for a streaming service. And it was, every so often music would get referred my way, but it was great because I had only recently before that kind of come across you all on some radio station I had been listening to online. And getting that album, it was right when I first met my fiance, actually, funny enough. And I think one of our first nights hanging out, I was like, oh, there's this new Tides of Man album. I'm gonna totally check this out. And we sat in the dark. I had this like cool little planetarium projector. Listen to the hell out of that record, man. And so now I've conjured into holding the microphone for us today. So
Dude, that's
huge
awesome.
shout
that's
out
her.
to Lindsay.
That's
Yeah.
What's up?
We keep it in the family. It's like all a bunch of weird creative people. Oh shit! Come on now, Mario.
Oh, Roy.
Oh, I just got fucking rough.
I'm the most disappointed to tell the audience how bad the computer is beating all of you.
Oh, there's a computer? Oh, yeah.
Apparently,
the rest of them.
Well, James, and I gotta say, at work today, James, you were talking a ton of shit, man, and I don't know if you've quite earned it yet.
I mean, in this, oh no,
Oh,
we're
I'm third now.
now. Oh well.
I'm beating all of you. Except for Yoshi. I'm about to kill you.
So, Dan, you might be a good person to ask about this, although I'd love to hear it from everybody. So, you mentioned the transition. What was the hardest part of transitioning from, like, the previous era into the new instrumental era?
I mean, it was just kind of like a gradual thing. We were trying out singers for a long time, and nothing really ended up working out with anyone.
Yep.
Just either like distance, or they were in other projects, or whatever, you know. And so
Failing.
it took 4 years from Dreamhouse to Young Courageous. So there was a long time of us debating on what to do, and what ended up happening was we were just stagnant, not doing anything, feeling really crappy about it. And we're just like, why don't we do an instrumental show? Just be out there and play. And it went well. Like, lots of people came out and they cheered and it felt good. And we're like, why don't we do an album? And that's pretty much how it happened.
That's awesome. Sounds like it was a little more, like, once you kind of had that, like, you know, almost like spark to go that path.
Yeah.
It's kind of wonderful to see that, especially with the new record too, which we've been playing the hell out of this station.
Awesome. Thank you.
Our station, what I love the most about Radio Artifact, where we're on air, is that they pretty much let me do whatever I want. It's like I almost feel like I'm almost serious level freedom, minus the swearing. I know I'll have to edit out of this in the long run.
That's really cool.
One of the things I was going to bring up, I know you guys are auditioning vocalists. Anybody we'd have heard of? Can I ask that question?
Yeah, there's a few that we're comfortable being public about. Donnie from Hail the Sun is our good friend and now our booking agent. We did a track with him, and we really liked his vocals. He had Hail the Sun, and that was going to be his main thing.
Sure.
We really wanted someone that their focus was on Tides.
Sure, absolutely.
And then another guy, Mike Caswell, was one of our favorites, and he's like so different from Tillian that we thought it could work. But he also had his own band.
It's kind of a bummer too. I'd be curious to, like, that's the secret records we're hoping to leak out one of these days. So.
We only did a few demos.
Donovan's is on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, actually, both those singers have demos on YouTube.
I love that. I'm so interested. You know, I've been a musician a long time myself. I'm always so interested in everybody else's creative process from, like, everything.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to me to hear about how you all went through that process of change and everything. Now, we're as far as the touring goes, what's your dream lineup? If you all could book your own tour, or you know what I mean, and go with them?
Three-band limit.
Yeah,
you guys
three-band limit. Who are you with?
Radiohead headlining.
Headlining.
I think that's
Okay. Yeah, you thinking about that too? Okay. That's a three-way for Tom York.
Does that mean we're on it, or is it just a dream tour that we would like to see?
You're on it.
We're the
preferably.
opener?
I figured you'd headline, but I'm like, I like the idea of Radiohead opening for you.
Yeah.
Dream big, gentlemen.
Who's the second one?
Yeah, who else you put on? What about you?
I would say Bon Iver. I like them live, but there's probably cooler bands that we can, I don't know, think of.
Thrice is on mine, but if we got to narrow it down to three, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally would tour with Cody all day.
Oh yeah.
But
Cody would be very, very sick.
I feel like that would be a great tour for you all too, because they brought like.
That would make the most sense.
Yeah, like the vibe is kind of similar, you know what I mean, and like I think they would definitely appreciate that.
yeah.
So this is our chance to just start making a plea to Claudio.
Yeah, I mean.
A few less live acoustic
would
streams,
love-
Claudio. Broke them off the show.
Love to tour with them.
I think he's scary, Claudio. Take this
You
out.
have to.
I also think one other band that we all like a lot is Cloud Kicker.
Yeah.
Which is just a one-man band, and he's only done one tour ever. But that would be very cool to do too. Just because we all love that his music.
What kind of? I'm unfamiliar.
He's all over the place.
Sweet.
He's got stuff that goes from metalcore to he's got like an acoustic album. He's got one that sounds like Siamese Dream by Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, wonderful.
And it's all good. It's all very, very good.
Yeah, I could tour with Smashing Pumpkins too. They're one of my favorite bands of all time as well.
I feel like they've been a repeat focus of our show over the last few months. I guess with the new record and Billy Corgan kind of being weird in public every so often these days, but also for me really enjoyable as a fan. You know, I'm like, I don't really mind that you became my crazy uncle now, but it's fine. You know, you gave me 1979 and that changed my youth.
My crazy uncle was like the religious type. It ain't the crazy religious type.
Did you see the set list on their last tour?
It's like 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's like 3 hours.
It was nuts. I was like, how do you do that every night?
What blew my
2
mind?
words, Jimmy Chamberlain.
Yeah, right. Seriously, praise Chamberlain.
Nah, he's amazing. He's
Did they
amazing.
still have a young drummer play with them or no?
No, he's back. I think Jimmy Chamberlain's back in the band.
Yeah, he is.
But how long did they have him? He was there for a while.
Yeah, he was like, I think he was there through most of the 90s. I think he left sometime right after the Melancholy tour because he was there when the keyboard player died. And then he came back in, I can't believe I know all this off the top of my head now. He came back in 99 and then I think left the band again in sometime in the 2000s and then came back again. They're like the best on and off again couple I can think of.
But
you know?
that band ain't the same without him.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how close they are to the original lineup now. Though I think the only person missing these days is Darcy. Kind of wild. All right, now.
We're in the last race here.
Oh, are we in the last race?
Yes.
Game 2 is. Are you leading this?
Oh, am I leading this?
He
Sorry,
is.
boys.
He does this for a living.
I wish. It's just way too shameful how much I don't get paid for how much I play games.
Yeah, I love it. That's amazing. How about this? What about goals in the music industry? I mean, obviously you've accomplished a lot, but like, what are you still driving towards? What's like the next step for the band or for you personally? Even?
Just bigger, better tours and keep growing, and we want to sell more records and you know, we're an independent band, and that's important to us after being on a label in the past, is to have our own control over everything. So, I mean, that's literally all we want to do is just keep making records and tour and keep growing and make our show even better. And
I'm already excited to see what kind of light rig everybody's got going on tonight. I was like, oh, they brought in extra stuff tonight. Looks nice.
Oh, that's not us.
Is that not you?
No.
Perfect in that case. I'm lying to the audience.
I wish that was us.
Thanks for nothing, Josh. We've known each other for hours
I didn't
now.
want you to be disappointed.
No, I'm gonna have a great time. On that end too. So, where you mentioned the being off the label, and that was part of the transitional period too, if I'm not mistaken, right? So, let me ask you this 2 ways. What were some of the perks of being with the label, and then what do you prefer about being an independent artist?
I guess the perks of being on a label would be like, you know, anytime we were ready to tour, they'd just figure it out and have something.
Sure.
Or like all the time, you know? And so, you know,
Connection that they have.
Right.
So we don't have to deal with that and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the perks of being off of it is you make money for once.
Sweet. I hear great things about money.
I mean, not a lot.
Only here.
But like at least something, and you know, you have like more control over like what you're doing and when you're putting it out, and they can, yeah.
it's also really fun to be like 100% hands-on throughout the whole process. It's all us.
it is all us.
We're very DIY. We have a booking agent and a manager, and that's it.
And Dan designs a lot, pretty much all of
Yeah,
our
like I
merch.
do all the t-shirt
All the
designs.
shirts.
That's really cool.
He helps a lot with like the album art and how it's configured.
And Josh does internet marketing,
Yeah.
and so he helps us get eyeballs on the band. Alan does photography, and Spencer, our other guitar player, he does a lot of home record. He works at a studio back home and does a lot of recording and demo stuff for us. Like we all like fill a role outside of our instruments.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that you clearly take a lot more ownership. I'm assuming there'd be way more passion behind this, probably.
Yeah.
In a weird, but not that it wasn't there before. But I would imagine now it's like this is my baby, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we're all super opinionated. So when it comes to like the writing process, it's very much like we have to work together because we have so many different ideas.
Yeah.
So we really figure it out together.
One of you lead in the writing process usually, or how does that work? Like, where's that all come from?
It's very democratic, honestly. Like, it's usually like
You use an
someone.
electoral college.
It's someone will usually present like an idea, like the first song that we're playing tonight. Everything is fine. Everyone's happy. That started with a bass line.
Yeah.
The main heavy bass line, and we built chord progressions around that, and other ones like I had written basically an entire structure, brought it to the band, and then when we jammed it out, the whole vibe and everything changed, but it is built on those chords and everything. And there's been stuff where literally like Josh will be playing a rhythm and I'll just like come up with a riff, and like the end of a song called Mosaic on our record it was built around that. And then Spencer does tons of writing and and arranging. Like he's like the chord progression dude.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah. That's awesome. I'm glad that it's always interesting on that too, because like it's been interesting every time we've like met a different band. No one has the same story. You know what I mean? Like, I find that so. I mean, James and I do music together, and we kind of are the same way, right? We're just like, oh, well, everybody's got their process. And I find that so interesting. You guys, are there any things outside of like the actual physical musicality that you get into as far as like preparing? Like, is there some sort of like, I don't want to say ritual, but for lack of a better term, like a ritual that gets you in your creative headspace?
No, I think it's all of us just writing from experience of like what we've experienced. At least me personally, everything I write comes from a like deep-seated place. You know?
I think, I mean, as far as like Josh lives in London, and so he like whenever we are like all writing together, he's got to fly here. So it's mostly just about getting in the practice space together and like just pushing through any creative blocks or whatever. And that's part of the reason why Every Nothing, there was like a little gap between Young Courageous and that album. Was just like, we wrote and wrote and wrote, whether we were in the mood to or not, until we felt like we had something really good.
Drive, determination, all of those like important words we're supposed to pick up
For sure.
Way, right?
Yeah. It's really weird because like every like actual band that we've like interviewed has always had those kind of like good answers, but then like being someone that grew up in the music scene, hearing other people that are just as far as I am, which is nowhere, trying to say like how to make it, like it's just thanks for continuing the trend of having actual thoughts on how your process goes. Because it's great to hear.
Being a band is hard fucking work.
Being married to people for your life, it's amazing.
It's super fun.
It's great. It's hard. You learn life from it. It's really cool.
We get to do a lot of stuff with like independent artists through our station. So I also want to reiterate James's thanks that I know there's gonna be a lot of young bands that watch or at least listen to the audio, if nothing else, on the show of hearing this stuff. So again, thank you so much for that. Now, I want to wrap this up on a kind of a fun question. Well, two maybe. Who won?
Sorry,
3 seconds now? All right.
So I make the big
I'm pretty sure I was last place.
Everybody else is like kicked out of the band. You're like,
That was a weird cut. I didn't.
Well, since you guys lost, you voted.
yeah, seriously. But the band's about to go through another transition. All right, so we're halfway through the tour here in the greater Cincinnati area. What is like the shittiest thing you've dealt with on tour before? Like, any horror stories?
The Black Death.
Oh yeah.
That's the worst thing we've ever
2016, we went out with Covet, and Josh got sick first in LA.
A bird flew into our radiator.
We had no idea. We had no idea. We each legitimately got bird flu.
Oh shit!
No,
bird
it was
flu.
the worst illness anyone's gotten, and every single person on the tour got it.
Symptoms. And it was like you just wanted to like crawl into like something and just like never talk to anyone and just sleep and like. And we all had
like
to play.
hallucinating delirious in Lawrence, Kentucky, and I don't know how I played that show.
That's amazing.
We played New York.
So I mean,
Yeah, they didn't know.
Yeah, he got lucky. I got it in LA. He got it.
I got it in New York 2 hours before it hit me. By the time I came off stage, I collapsed on the floor. I finished the last song. I think they asked for an encore, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" we played it, and I literally came off stage and collapsed. Like,
We did have a fan buy us a hotel room
Which was
for
sick.
Alan that night, which was awesome. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
saved me.
I was just gonna say I can only imagine how easy it'd be for you to pass that shit around.
Oh,
Oh, we passed
We
it
passed it
on
through
to
the
every
whole
band, and then there were 2 instrumental bands. One band, Icarus the Owl, they had a singer.
Oh hell yeah.
They had a couple singers. All of them got it at the same time, and they had to play instrumental because they were that fucked up.
they got it, you know. So
This is
This is birth.
that's amazing.
it's like reminds me of playing Pandemic back in middle school, trying to spread the viruses to Madagascar, but you could never get there. Now I just need to know birds in the radiator.
Yeah.
Things everywhere gonna spread.
I'm about to wreck a bunch of tours now that I do that, you know. Local openers, that's awesome. Well, gentlemen, I think that wraps it up, James, unless there's anything. I know I kind of steamrolled over you, but
No,
you
you're
also
done.
steamrolled over all of them.
Yeah.
Tides of Man must have been low tide.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to come up with a bunch of drowning puns beforehand. I was like, what else I got? Anything wet? Nothing. Awesome. No, seriously, guys, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Other as the tour goes horribly. I hope, I've found a lot of different animals as you traverse the landscape. So if it really goes bad, I'm so sorry that I said it out loud and willed it into existence. But no, all kidding aside, I appreciate your time. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks,
Cool. And thank you all for watching. I forgot where the camera was. Fuck. I'm an unprofessional now. There's my phone, too. See you next week on the
there's the
show.
show.
Fridays at 5.